Good morning, YouTube land. Let me know if you can hear me, please. Anybody out there? Please type something in YouTube so I know you can hear me. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it. I'll be back in a minute, guys.
Risk disclosure statement. There is a risk of loss in trading stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, derivatives, options, forex, and cryptocurrencies. This risk can be substantial, and therefore investors should carefully consider their financial suitability prior to trading. Past performance is not indicative of future performance. The software, strategies, chat rooms, websites, and any associated websites or digital venues are for educational purposes only and should not be construed as an express or implied promise or guarantee that you will profit or that losses may be limited in any manner whatsoever. Users of the information accept full responsibility for the outcomes of their deployment in wholesale trader, LLC, and any associated companies, agents, management, owners, and customers harmless without reservation. Please trade responsibly. Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, Rule 4.41, hypothetical and simulated trading performance results have certain inherent limitations, some of which are described herein. No representation is being made that any account holder is likely to achieve profits or losses similar to those shown. In fact, there are frequently sharp differences between hypothetical or simulated performance results and the actual results subsequently achieved by any particular trading program. One of the limitations of hypothetical performance results is that they are generally prepared with the benefit of hindsight. In addition, hypothetical trading does not involve financial risk, and no hypothetical trading record capability account for the impact of financial risk in actual trading. For example, the ability to withstand losses or adhere to a particular trading program in spite of trading losses are material points which can also adversely affect actual trading results. Because these trades have not actually been executed, the hypothetical results may amount to or overcompensated for the impact, if any, of certain market factors such as lack of liquidity. There are numerous other factors related to the markets in general or to the implementation of any specific trading program which cannot be fully accounted for in simulated trading or in the preparation of hypothetical performance results and all, of which can adversely affect actual trading results.
This trade room and this webinars are not intended to mirror my trades or to give specific trade recommendation. The analysis themselves I share trades and potential trades that I'm taking for myself based on my personal analysis. The goal of this room is to teach trades how to identify specific areas to trade and for themselves, but ultimately the decision is yours. Trading is extremely risky, and if you do decide to follow my personal trade, you do so at your own risk and could potentially lose your entire account and even more. I'm not always profitable and have routine drawdowns on my trading accounts. The spreadsheet you have access to is my personal spreadsheet that I use to enter zone values and ATR values that help me to avoid exact prices for my trades. You can see when I enter zone prices into the master spreadsheet as well as the prices to enter trades whether you want to go long or short. You have the ability to copy the spreadsheet and enter your own values and use mine to confirm the zone prices until you're able to draw the zones correctly yourself. The spreadsheet is not telling you which direction to trade as it has entry prices and stop prices for both long and short positions depending on which way you personally decide to trade. All right, good morning. Pretty dead morning so far.
Fed's Wallace is inflation data.
Oh, now we get some Fed chirps to start out the day. So, so stuff's just firing in now. There's only been basically one setup, or there was a couple setups, but I missed this short and Russell. We'll go over that. Nice move, of course. There's usually just straight down if I miss them. We'll go over that. We do have something firing off here in gold. Some sell ice right at the call resistance area. This is a sexy Gexy trade. I'm going to sell a couple of these.
Order filled.
Actually, I missed the...
Order filled. Order filled.
I already missed this, so got to be quick on these things. So this is our new auto entry trade, where you get these volume events. And that was quick, so hopefully you guys got that in my trade room. Sell ice into call resistance, options level, Mentor Q, call resistance. You jump in right when you hear it. I will get out a half at right in front of an ATR, 5-minute ATR, just looking for that daily reaction, then I'll hold half. That happened very, very quick. That dude's talking to, so I didn't even get a chance to pull this over here, so that was pretty quick. Anyway, volume event. So over this webinar and all my webinars, I'm going over multiple different trading strategies, right? So the top of this is are my position trading strategies, and then we have some newer strategies here. These auto fades. This is the one I just missed, Sexy Gexy, where you get the volume event into the Gex levels. These are great risk reward trades because you're jumping in right when you hear the event. And then we have these ATR reversion trades too that we'll go over. So I'm going to be jumping back and forth. It may seem confusing. It's really not once you understand what I'm doing. So I will do my best to break it down to the basics during the webinar, but you got to remember I'm trading live. I know I'm talking fast, so on and so forth, but I'm trading live and I'm trading multiple markets. So anyway, missed this trade, already a nice trade. Missed this trade too. We'll go over what I missed first, but after we go over some real-time trades. So this actually was an IZZY. I can go short IZZY here, gold, sell ice, and this is one big balance area too. So it's right at the top of this thing basically. So if it breaks out of there, I will be definitely long focused. I'm going to get in right here.
Well, it says we can start breaking out several months from now if current expectations about inflation are met.
Alright, so I took a gold IZZY. Again, I missed a sexy Gexy. So for my position trading strategies, I wait for the market to move an ATR plus out, plus 15% in this case. That's what this yellow line is. Hold on, so the problem is this guy's talking on the squawk, but if I turn it down, then I'm missing events. So there's a fine line in between that. So I will turn it down, but hopefully I don't miss anything. Anyway, for my position tradings, I get in ATR plus, so that was the IZZY zone. I got short. Again, I missed a sexy Gexy. I'll keep saying that because it's very disturbing. Missed a couple today so far. Again, the ones I miss are instant winners, it feels like, for about 25 years. That's trading. Where else? So as far as other areas that I short, so I don't see anything on the market profile composites. Let's go back here a little bit. So these things draw new ones. Probably combine all four of these, so let's combine these and see the next one up here. So these are composites. These are just days that are merged together, very powerful areas, the tops and bottoms of these things. So I'm going to make this one whopper. Let's see where we're at compared to that. So all I'm doing is looking for my important areas. I'm looking for real-time volume events in my important areas. All right, so that didn't quite get there yet. So there was nothing to do. The only short I had here was the IZZY short. There's nothing to do. Actually, we can take. No, it's already too late. So I just missed a trade here too. I don't know what I'm looking at today. A little razzled when I miss a bunch of trades. I start to go on to a little bit. So I missed the sexy Gexy. I would have got one there. I'd still have one short on. But then this is the other trade, the newer trade. This is the back in black trade where you're waiting for a bounce off an important area. In this case, it was Gex 7, and you take the move back to the zone and you're out. So there's something for any type of trader that we're doing as far as strategies, right? We have the position trade strategies where you're sitting in. I do have that one on the short. We have the sexy Gexys, the great R trade where you're jumping in the middle of the zone. Then we have these reversion trades that are more scalp type trades where, because of the ridiculousness of these markets to come back to these zones, I could already show you like 5 today, but we're taking advantage of it bouncing off an important area, showing that propensity to bounce off these areas and then taking the reversions back to the zone. So I'm staring right at this while I was talking about it. I don't know why I didn't take that or see that, but that was a winner as well. Anyway, this was ATR retest confirmed. That's another pattern we look for a couple other strategies, bark and lick. But algo guy has to be, it's an exponential moving average. This has to be in the direction of that trade, and this is a bullish algo guy right now. The blue is short term. These are all just individual time ribbons. These are short-term ribbons. These are long-term ribbons. So I will only take my bark and lick position trading strategies if this is in line with those. So this is a bullish algo guy right now. So there's no bark and lick here. That's what I usually would take off of that. So the only thing I have on right now is an IZZY. Again, it's an inflection zone trade. I do not take algo guy into consideration for these areas. Right, so I shorted here. Market's very bullish, right? But this is an area. This is this zone that the market has failed. Gap down there, and here we are again, and it's the top of this balance. So I'm okay taking the short. By no means does this market look bearish, right? So what I am also on the look for, say I do lose on this trade, on this short, this is a short, inflection zone short. If this thing breaks out of here, I'll look for a breaking away trade, but it's got to be breaking out of here on at least 2 times normal volume. So we'll go over that if that happens. But I'm currently short. I'm fighting algo guy, and I'm fighting the trend right now. So, but I still put on the trade because I do not know what's going to happen next. I know I have my strategies and my rules, and if you have an edge, you just put the trades on because you don't know what's going to happen next. So there's that pattern. Again, I'm not taking Barks and Legs there. I just have Izzy on. So that's gold. There has been really nothing else besides the Russell misses that I will show you. Yes, there's been nothing. I am on the lookout for, there's a couple of scenarios here as far as thesis, right? So thesis is just a guess of what's going to happen. I trade off real-time volume events, but when my thesis matches the real-time volume events, bullish or bearish, then I trade double size. So this is what I'm on the lookout for. You can see it already reacted there. So that's a balance area over the last few days. That's the high volume node. So high volume node is just the middle of a balance area. Balance areas are just traders placing bets, right? Back and forth, time and price, right? And this was over a few days. You can see this market. This is just yesterday's trade, but that's still a balance. Broke down out of that, but it held this high volume node of that. So we have different trades potentially here. If this could break, I'd say line in the sands here is 52.72. If I start getting volume events below that, I will take double size shorts because of the structure that I'm watching here. So we have different trades for this. This is a breaking bad trade. It's called BB. I'll go over this on the document. That's this one here. So again, this is a position trading strategy. Breaking bad. Current balance breakout through the high or breakdown through the high volume node of preceding balance. Trades are taken aggressively on the first SI event through the high volume node. So that would be what I'm watching for here. It hasn't happened yet. We haven't had an event, so I'm not doing anything here, right? But if this moves, it's already put in a buying tail, so it's trying to react there. So if this moves a little lower, then I would take a breaking bad. The other trades I have here would be a failed balance breakout of that guy because it tried to break out and it would be failing. I wait for it to get through the high volume node again. I take that trade. That's the strategy. So again, you need to know where you're at in the market. So when the stuff starts firing off, you're not sitting here like a deer in headlights trying to figure out what strategies you're going to take. I already know I have these ready to go if a certain thing happens. If it moves lower and I get a volume event, that would be FBB, failed balance breakout in this case. On the flip side, say this guy holds. It's already showing that it can hold. So if this one tried to break down, right, that would be a failed balance breakdown that way. So if we get through, I'd say anything above 6,000-ish, yes, I would take failed balance breakdown of that structure. So again, these are just guesses based on structure. If I get it came up here and I got a short, like kind of like gold, and I got an Izzy short and the volume event proved to be bearish, I would still take the Izzy short, right? The whole idea of the thesis, the guess, is now if I get a volume event that's bullish and it has a bullish look, then I just trade double size. So I'm taking advantage of what they're called A+ setups, right? So I've told you guys many times when I got back in the business, 2017, 18-ish, I was just going to trade stocks because I was so jaded from, being a multi-millionaire trading the ES and then not be able to make $1 overnight. This is like 2007, hung on for 6 years trying to reinvent myself. I had to get out of the business, back in the business 2017, 2018. Decided I wasn't going to trade futures because I was so jaded. PTSD, if you will. So I was trading with SMB. They're mainly stock traders, and their biggest thing was when you get an event or when you get a setup that is just like a layup type setup, you need to trade bigger. They call it A+ setups, and they actually ground their traders if their traders don't take trades that are A+ setups. So this is my definition of an A+ setup. If my thesis is in line with the volume event that comes in, then I trade bigger size, aka my A+ setup. So that's all I'm doing here. But even if I'm bullish a market like gold, I will still take the trade because, prior zones and prior areas and moving averages and everything else, that's great. But what rules are real-time volume events? And so this is trying to break down here. What would help is if algo guy pulled. So we call this algo guy because there's so many algos that trade this thing, right? So if this crosses, you get these algos that jump in on the cross, and that helps push it down as well. So you'll have, I have other wind at my sails, if you will. But anyway, like I said, gold looks very bullish from a longer term standpoint, but I'm short. So, and again, I missed that trade, which I missed 2 trades there. Sexy Gexy and the back in black. All right, so the trade I missed earlier here in Russell. So there's nothing has happened. Wait, I take that back. See, this is the problem. I don't hear when I have this turned down, so I'm going to turn it up. Hopefully, if this guy's too loud talking over me, let me know, and I'll just turn him off. All right, so we got some sell ice here in NASDAQ. So step 1 is to identify the volume event. This is the zone drawing tool, so you can draw these manually. All this is doing is taking this information from the subchart, which I don't know why this drew. This doesn't look like that's threshold. So that's interesting, because I'm only showing. So this is drawing off the information from the on chart.
Traders move to price in near even odds.
Not quite sure why this drew. So let me know in my trade room if you guys got this as a threshold event, because this is only showing 110, and my threshold for NASDAQ is 150. So now I'm a little hesitant to even trade this because the subchart's saying it's way off. I'm actually going to take a screenshot of this and send it to the developer. He's a trader in my trade room as well, because it should not be drawing this zone. And I don't want this is the whole reason we have thresholds for these markets, right? Because I don't just trade every iceberg event or stop run event. It's got to be a certain amount, and that amount is, the market. The market will react to bigger amounts, obviously, right? So again, I don't know why that's true. If you guys can let me know in the trade room if you got that event. Let's see what you guys said here. Anybody? Someone's typing, so I'll let you guys know in a second. All right, well, let's just say it's an event for now. You didn't get to sell ice. What quantity did you have here, Nick? What did you have for this quantity? Again, I don't know why this thing drew. Or if anybody can tell me what quantity. All right, so while I'm waiting for that, this is the same look what I just talked about in ES, right? You got balance. This actually was a failed balance breakout today, right? So I could take the first volume event through that guy, which I would kind of have right now if this is a threshold event. And then I'm watching for the same stuff I was talking about on ES. Right, so again, if I start getting value events below there, I'm going to trade double size shorts. That's all I'm saying based on the structured guess. Again, it's a guess. 272 stop-tastic there. You on? Make sure you have the right settings. So guys, for this stuff, for the subchart, you want to have 10 seconds for your stops, 1 minute for your icebergs. Tastic. Make sure you're not on 1 minute for your stops. If you have it on 1 minute, it's going to show obviously bigger volume because it's computing it for over a minute, for up to a minute. You got a stopper too. What is going on with this then? Let's see. This is my trader talking to me. So again, trading's hard enough, and I don't like having wrong volume. Right, that's, come on guys, Delta, that's GC, that's not NQ. I'm asking about NQ. All right, so Nick said he got 100, so I'm just not going to trade this event. That's not, I don't know why that's true. I'm going to send that to the developer later. So we're still waiting for something in NASDAQ. Sorry about that, but again, I'm not going to trade marginal events. The other thing here I missed in Russell, I just got up from my desk and I missed this. So there was a buy ice event earlier, right after the open. We had both in Izzy. So this is the same type of trade I just took in gold, right? So the market moved down here, came up here. We had the ice, buy ice in this case, so it was a broken ice event. I have 6 distinct setups that I trade. This was broken ice, meaning someone came in here with hidden buy ice, hidden orders. That's what the icebergs are. They're hidden orders until they're traded into, and it immediately failed. So I could have taken an Izzy short there. The other short I should have taken if I was here watching it, like I should have been, was a pick short. So that volume event was at this market profile composite. These things are very, very powerful. The tops and bottoms. It was right there. It broke back into here. I could have taken that too. I didn't take either one of them. This was a nice trade. And I would have been out at some of these areas down here. So the entry would have been here, right? And I would have been out, probably would have been out of some there at these gex levels, and you can see the spot gamma levels too. Most of them align because it's the same principle, right? And then I could have been out of some there, but coulda, woulda, shoulda, as my grandpa used to say. Did not put that on. Meantime, just waiting for some kind of event. I missed. This isn't crude as well, so a bunch of missed trades today. But it's just, even if you miss trades, it's good to see, how this stuff works. So first of all, this was I saw this after the retest. So this back in black trade, it doesn't have to be an options level that it bounces off. It has to be an important area. So you had this buy ice, the market moved down right at the 1 ATR and came back. Well, what was that? That was right at the top of this guy. Right, so it was at the time. So this is an important area. We just got done talking about it in the other markets, right? The event was like right there, came down, bounced off of there, back to the zone. So this is the back in black trade. These are the newer trades. This is more of a scalping type trade. Take the 1, 2, and 3 or 3 ATR back to reversion entries after the market touches. Should be the market touches an important area and begins to move back through the given ATRs back to the SI volume band. So it could be, we see all the time, I've been posting them in Twitter too. All right, I'll show you a couple of these. So I try to post a trade of the day when I can. Let's see. This was a while ago. Oh, yeah, so see, this was one going the other way here, right? So you had the volume event, the market moved up, it tagged these spot gamma levels, and I took the 3, the 2, the 1. I actually stopped out of the 1, but it was my fault. The stop should have been, when you get filled wherever the stop is, you leave it there. You don't trail it down. And I saw it late, and I just messed up. But anyway, this is the trade, right? It bounces off something important, and you take the corresponding ATRs back to the zone, right? So that's what that trade was. That's what that trade is. So I missed that. It doesn't have to be a GEX level. It could be, like in this case, it bounced off that market profile composite right back to the zone. So, you can take these aggressively too, meaning you don't even have to wait for it to bounce off something, because the ridiculous...
At 10:30 a.m. Eastern time, we get our weekly...
ridiculous propensity for these things to come back to the zone anyway. But it's either even better, the back in black's even better when they bounce off something important. So missed that trade too. This was a short setup, but I didn't take it. Algo guy, the barks and licks at the time, it was like right on top of each other. So I didn't take that trade, the short, but the short's working. So this is why, this market couldn't look more bullish, right? Things have gone straight up. We've been talking about this for weeks, right? When it broke out of this big balance, and then broke out of that balance, and this thesis-wise, this market looks very, very bullish. But if you're watching your volume event, so say you were long, say you've been long for days, and then you see this setup, and you're like, okay, well, that's buy ice. It should hold because the big money's buying here. Why is it failing? Okay, I'm out. And then you avoid this move, right? So again, real-time volume runs the show. It trumps everything. I don't care what lines you have on your chart. Real-time volume is stuff that's happening right now affecting the market, right? So that's all I'm doing with my trades. I'm looking for important areas with real-time volume events and taking advantage with the rules. That's all I'm doing. So anyway, I don't have that one on either, because again, I don't like easy, quick winners. Let's see what else we got here. So the only thing I have on right now is this gold short, and it's just whipsawing me back and forth. I gotta put my stop on. I forgot to do that. 27.54. So there was really nothing for me to get out of any of these, right? I mean, my entry was for this particular trade. Again, I missed the sexy Gexy, but for the position trade, I got in right there. It went a little bit lower, so there was nothing. I would watch this if these areas have been moved lower among my other areas, but that didn't happen. So that comes back, guys. This is trading, right? It's probabilities. It's just like a casino. I'll do the trading of the zone rant like I do every week, but you get your setup, In your rules, you take the trade. If it comes back and stops you out, on to the next trade, on to the next trade. If you have an edge, aka the probability is in your favor, which this is the best edge I've ever seen in my 25 years of trading, then you just keep putting them on. You control your risk. So this is the zone drawing tool. You plug in what you're willing to risk, right? So that's this. So 5,000 capital. These are these Apex accounts. Each one is assigned a strategy, and I'm risking 10%. So I'm risking $500 per trade. Again, if you're trading your own money that you're living on, you should not be risking 10% on trades because you will blow out and you will be broke on the street. Right? So if you're trading your real money account, the most you should be risking is 1.5 to 2% per trade, and the most you should lose in a day is 5 to 6%. So if you hit that, you just say today is not making sense. I'm done. I know it's easier said than done, but you hear me say it every day. I mean, there's days that everything works. So like last week, pretty much the entire week, every trade was a winner, every single one. You got some gold stops here now too. So this is a little through this level. I could take another sexy Gexy here. I don't like taking them if they rip through the level as much. See how this is like through that area? So I'm not going to take the sexy Gexy again. I missed that one. I should have been on,
Denoilized iceberg IZO 151 contract.
I'm not quite beating oil down. There were some great trades in here, just for an example. So I tell you guys all the time, you should be watching other markets. So there hasn't been one thing in ES or NQ yet, right? You're sitting here, you're jonesing the trade, you're putting on trades, and these algos are whipsawing you to death. Natural gas numbers coming out here too. So this is one of the reasons I wait for volume events, because these algos are just taking everyone's money. They're just jonesing to put trades on. They're loving it, right? Whipsawing everyone back and forth, no matter if you go long, if you go short. And I can guarantee you, this is a quick look at the market pulse. This is the, where's it at? I guarantee the price change algo is just running the show here. You can trade off this too if you like scalping, but it's not even, I don't even have this on. Hold on. All right, so I gotta wait for this to load and I'll show you guys, but it's a great way to also time your entries too. I'll let this load and then we'll go over it. But I guarantee you it is running the show. Every one of these waves is price change. Turn it on ES too, just so I can show you guys. But it's it's just good to see, even if you're not trading it, it's good to see what these algos are trading off of, right? So you have a little peace of mind, especially when you're in a trade, right? And you're like getting whipsawed to death, like you're in a position trade, like kind of like I'm in gold and I'm getting whipsawed to death. You can at least see what these algos are trading off of. Not all of them, but a lot of them, right? So let's make sure this is, yeah, that's checked. All right, so we'll go over that once that loads, but my point is, what I was getting at, there's nothing going on. So look at this. I didn't, of course, do any of these either because they're really, really easy winners, and I don't like easy winners. So I'll go over these, but this is when I don't put trades on. This is just me bitching, by the way, and I have to bitch or my head will pop off. I can explain it. And then this is when I do put trades on, right? So I'm short gold right now. You guys, I'm like any of you, right? Like, yeah, I've been doing this a long time. I have a lot of experience, but I still have the the market's against me feeling, and everyone I put on is a torture, everyone I miss. So, but I do bitch a lot, talk it out, because like I tell my room all the time, and trading psychologists all say this, Dr. Brett says it, they all say it, is, you cannot ignore your emotions, right? It doesn't mean you go on tilt and start just firing orders, but, if something is, if you take some losses, don't internalize it and act like it doesn't bother you. Get it out however you get it out. I get it out by constantly bitching, talking to myself. I've always talked to myself, right? Whether I'm on a webinar or not. That's how I get it off my chest and on to the next trade, right? Some people have to get up and take a walk. Some people have to go work out. Whatever, you need to figure out what you need to do so you don't literally internalize it and then one day just go postal and like murder your whole block, right? So, because you lose your mind. So find what you need to do, but don't ignore your feelings, right? If you're upset. So this is very upsetting. Why? Well, because there were multiple trades here. Algo guy was bearish. It's been bearish. So you had an ATR, a retest, confirm of that. I could have put on a bark and a lick there. Here was another one, ATR, retest. I could have put on 2. This one, ATR. Hey, look at that, another retest. Put on 3. This one, ATR. So I could have 4 trades on right now and counting let's see, is there another one? And the way I trade these, so that you can see when you catch a trending market like this is bean oil. You guys are probably be like, what the hell is bean oil? What's ZL? I even asked I asked Fabio from Mentor Q the other day, hey, can we get some GEX levels for ZL and ZM? He's like, what is ZL and ZM? So he doesn't even know about it. I'm not saying you have to trade ZL and ZM. My point is, this stuff works. It's all about volume. Volume drives markets. I don't care if you're looking at ZL, silver, wheat, soybeans. The point is, on days like right now, when, and here's an example, then we'll go back to that ZL trade that's ridiculous and really happy. And I heard it firing off. I just didn't put them on because I was watching other things. But so look at this price change algo. Let's see here. Why is this not? Hold on. Why is this not loaded for me? Oh, you know why? So if you do this, say you come in late and I didn't have this checked, you got to go over here and you got to, first I got to get rid of these. So go to the NQ, where's it at here? Got to be down here. So I got volume, pressure, and balance. These are the two that I use right now. They have all these different algos you can use. It's incredible. They built Market Pulse because of me. I asked them to build it because I wanted an enhanced version of Tick Strike, which I'll get going right here. But they've taken it and run with it, right? They have all these different algos. So here's the price change algo. So open this up and see how it says load historical data. If I go back, let's just go back like an hour. I just want to show you, and then it'll reload. But make sure, like, if you just get it going right now, you gotta, if you want to see the back stuff, you gotta load it up. So anyway, the price change algo, I just have, this is all default. I have it set for 5 minutes. The volume pressure algo, that's showing me if the most buying or selling for the last, I have it set to an hour. So we'll go over some of these, but let's just look at some of these price change algos. Running the show here. By the way, that may be very loud on the webinar, sorry. But there's a fine line. I can't turn down my sound because I miss events. But anyway, look at this thing. Again, even if you're not trading this, at least you get some peace of mind. Say you're long and you're going through this nonsense, right? You're like, well, what the hell is this? There you go, price change. So this is when it's the highest, the thresholds are 70%. So the biggest price change, 70% or higher of the price change in the last 5 minutes. Price change. Price change. Every time you get the color. This was a little blip, price change. Price change. It's just silly. This one was a little bit, again, you don't know exactly how far it's going to go, but these markets do react. When there's nothing going on, these algos know, just like we know, or these trading firms, when big stuff's coming through, like icebergs, stops, so on and so forth. When nothing's going on, these things just run the show. And then just look at this. There's another one. I mean, that didn't quite touch it, but that reacted. That one reacted. That one reacted. So the point is, yeah, you can trade these by hand. You got to be quick. You're competing against computers, right? But even if you're in a trade, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, there's nothing going on here, and these algos are just whipsawing me to death, right? And the other thing you can do too, so we may do this if we ever get an event today, you can time your entries, right? So say we get an event and I'm going to get short, but I see the price change algo at max. I can wait a second, let it snap back, and then get in once it snaps back, and or wait for it to snap, get the extreme the other way. See what I'm saying? Well, it's harder to explain. You'll see it in real time, but that's how you can use this stuff, guys. These markets are 100% manipulated. These guys are trying to take your money. It's a zero-sum game. These firms are trying to take retail traders' money. How do you think they are in existence, right? And again, I am fully convinced that, and it's just my opinion, the CME, the MBO data, that's this enhanced data that the icebergs and everything runs off of, not necessarily the price change, but the CME through the retail trader of bone like 8 years ago, I think it was 2017. And offered this information. The big money couldn't have been happy about that, right? So I think they did that because at that point, like the retail trader was dying. It was just shark eat shark in here. So they throw the bone of the MBO data to get some retail traders back in the game, so these firms can take all your money, right? So my point being, you can get mad at the manipulation because it's 100% manipulated. It's always been, always will be. But you can see the manipulation. That's the point. You can see the price change algos. You can see the games. You can see the icebergs. You can see the stops. So if you can't beat them, join them. That's what I always say. So again, nothing going on. Price change running the show. Let's check ES. Show you the same thing. I do have to load this back too, I think. Hold on. Any questions, by the way, throw them in the YouTube channel because I don't see anything else. I gotta delete some of this stuff. Why is that now? Because that crude rolled to March, by the way. Let's see here. Price change. Yeah, see, I gotta load it. I'll load it for an hour just to show you guys the algo games in here. Guys, what do you think this is? You see this flashing stuff? That's just these algos putting in and pulling orders in the order book. That's all you're looking at here. And just whipsawing people to death right now. And this is another great thing about using the SI indicator, which is the core of my trading. You stay out of this nonsense. I haven't got an event. I don't have a trade on. And they can sit here and do this all day long. Don't care. All right, the trade I do have on, again, short gold. I didn't take the sexy Gexy. Of course, it's going to work. He did have a stop run into this. Again, I don't like when it pushes through that much, right? Kind of the sell ice was perfect. I missed that one, but I didn't take this one. But I'm still short that Izzy trade. And speaking of, look at it. It's every market, by the way. Price change algo. Watch. Just to give you a, but you got to be careful too, right? So remember I said, oh yeah, you can trade this. You got to be fast. When the big money comes in here, and these algos have this factored in, right? They know they can do this, but the big money comes in, it could price change for 100 ticks, and you'll get crushed. They have that factored in, I guarantee it, into their profit, the risk level stuff, because they know 85% of the time there's nothing going on, meaning the big money's not playing, and then that's when they take your money. 15% of the time, the money, the big money comes in and does what they need to do, and the thing will price change, and you get killed if you're fading it, right? So you just got to be aware of that if you are going to trade this thing by hand. There's going to be time the big money comes in. I would not be doing this if you see heavy relative volume in the market, right? That's this. What we look at here, and I use the Sierra chart relative volume. This is showing me the exact 5-minute period for the last 30 days, right? So if this thing's spiking, if you're seeing yellow, I would not be messing around with price change algo, right? As far as trying to trade it. But anyway, let me show you this too. Again, I'm short here, right? So I will guarantee you once I get this thing loaded, it's explaining why this thing's just whipsawing back and forth. So let's let that load. So I'm going over this because there's just literally nothing going on. I've never seen this deep into the trading session, not one setup in ES or NQ. So that sucks, but that's just trading. You gotta accept. The ATR is actually pretty high. You only have almost an 5-minute ATR in ES, so if we can get some events where we get some movement, there you go. How's this? Price change. So this one kept going a little bit, right? So if you jumped in right away, you're like, here's the price change. Oh, crap. But it did relent. This one did that. This one did that. This one did that. This one did that. This one, you see what I'm saying? It's insanity, right? But you won't go insane, at least if you do have a position on, which I do not, you at least know why this is happening right there. So you can see how you can use that to even time your entries, like I said. So hopefully, like I was talking about, if we get an event, maybe I can show you. But there has not been one event. See if you guys got any questions. Mark says it's got to show for 160 stop price on that NQ event. I still don't see that, guys. I don't know. Let me turn this price change on. Here's the other thing, too, that I've been begging Bookmap to do. Vadim, if you're listening to me, why can't we have tabs here? So I have a price change algo tab. I have an SI indicator algo tab. I got the volume, pressure, and balance tab. So I can tab it so I don't have everything on top of each other. Like I've been asking for this for about a year and a half, and Vadim claimed they were working on it, and I still haven't seen anything. So Vadim's in the doghouse right now, if you're listening, Vadim. I don't see any, unless it was back here, right at the open. I don't see any threshold events. Again, Mark, make sure that was close. So I should have drawn this guy. So let's see how the market reacts. It's too late now, obviously. But this was one. So you're not going to get an announcement. I have my threshold for NASDAQ at 150. It's not going to announce it. It's not going to draw it. This was one contract away from, see, I was 149. So I guarantee I missed a trade here, but that's just how the day's been so far. Where is it at? Right there. So this is the beauty of the zone drawing tool. I'm going to put this in the, here, let me do it now before I forget. So everything I'm talking about here, I put this in the YouTube. So this is the zone drawing tool. You can get, so you don't have to do it by hand. And you can adjust it. I'll show you that. I'm going to put this in the YouTube channel. I got to switch accounts here. Then we'll look at the trade I probably missed in Q. Alright, so the beauty of the zone drawing tool, one, it draws automatically if you hit threshold, and you guys have watched for the last 7 years how I had to draw them manually. Not fun. And they're completely accurate too. That's the other thing. So this is where the stop run started. You can see it spiking. So I'm going to draw this slow stop there. We'll just keep it there for now. So the way you draw these, if you draw by hand, I go over this in my trading course too. That's this guy. Because there's going to be times you need to draw them, like right now, manually, right? So there's my course. You can get it there, get it on my website, get it on the book in the Bookmap Marketplace. I go over all the settings. Here, I'll show this like I always do because there's always newer traders. So this goes over everything I'm doing, the basis of this stuff, and the rules around trading them, and the thresholds, and the setups. Remember I said I have 6 distinct setups. Again, these horrible markets. See, I didn't hear this either. What is going on here? Do you have something here in crude? Let's see what I'm missing here. Whoa, don't want that. Zone drawing tool is gone wild. Alright, I could take a potential, let's see here. I went through that level. So again, guys, if I'm taking these black and black, this already, that didn't retest yet. You know, the black and black trades, again, you could take these reversions naked or aggressive, meaning first, what the hell? Hold on. All right. So you could take them when they hit them. They're just better trades when they bounce off something. This one I wouldn't have taken off the blind spot too, these Method Q levels, because it already went through there, right? But say this, it still hasn't officially retested, so say this makes another leg down and bounces off another level, I may take the 3, the 2, the 1, like I showed you guys. Like say it comes down on this one, or even this, see now you got, these are even better when you got them on top of each other, right? So say it comes down there, bounces, I'll take the 2 and the 1 coming back, if it doesn't come back right now. The other thing too is say I get short this, these are levels I will piece out of some on top of my other important levels. So anyway, for this, the oil guy is now bearish in crude. I already missed that trade earlier, I showed you guys. But this is bearish, so I can take barks and licks off of this guy. You already got the ATR, right? Push down an ATR. I'm sorry, ATR is the blue line. It hasn't retested yet though. If it retests, confirms, I have certain trades for that. For this guy, could I have taken something aggressive out? And I will need to look right now because I will miss the trade if I could have. Meaning, aggressive meaning first move out of the zone, I don't wait for the retest. Let's see what we got here. This is today's trade. So this is, so remember I said there's other important areas besides the gamma levels. So this did bounce off of this. We saw the one earlier that I missed, right? We had the volume event, it bounced off the top. Well, this one just bounced off the bottom, so I could be getting in these reversion trades now. It's too late, of course. Remember I said I didn't want to take this off the blind spot, but this move, this low, was off that market profile composite. So I could have taken the 2 right there, coming back, the 2 and the 1. I should be in those back and blacks. I missed that trade too. So I'm just giving you guys examples, right? I'm doing my best to catch these things. I didn't even hear this thing fire off or I would have been watching it. But anyway, yeah, I wouldn't have taken the back and black reversions off of that, but that was that market profile composite low. Do you take it? You just, you didn't get stopped out of them. It's still rotating, and I guarantee you this is a price change algo too. You take the 2, the 1, your stop. This is what these dotted lines are. These are the ATR reversions, right? The 1 to the 2 to the 3. These are the stops for the 1, the 2, the 3. This is all part of the zone drawing tool. You can get the basic version where it doesn't have all this stuff, and you can turn the stuff off. I can't show you because it's on another screen, but I can turn these levels off. See at the top there, I'm turning on and off. So if this is too much for you, you don't want to trade the reversions, you can turn all this stuff off and just have the entry and the ATR, right, for the zone drawing tool. That's the basic, and then we have the pro version too. That shows you all these ATRs. Anyway, that's gonna, I guarantee that works because I missed it. That's the theme of the day. All right, back to drawing this. Let's see what else we missed here. Hold on here. I was gonna show you this setups. I mean, this is, I can't believe how slow it is. I've been saying that a lot lately, but this is a little out of line. All right, so see how this spiked right here? So I need to move this a little lower. So you can adjust these. Bring it down here. And just go across. And if it keeps coming in, you keep adjusting it. If it came in more there, see that? Let's move it down more. This was a while ago. I missed this, like I said. But there's more there. See how it spiked? Bring in more. So that's how it would have drawn if it hit threshold, right? And I did that by hand. So let's see what I missed. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, for you guys, it's good to see, you know, how these things, how they respond. So this, you got your ATR. Here's your retest. Here's your confirm. So I could add bark and lick on, it looks like. Yes, algo guy was bearish. So that's upsetting. Missed that one. The back in blacks. So I would have taken a back in black probably off this guy. So that's probably gonna be a loser. Guys, again, it's just probabilities. You're gonna have losers. You just keep putting them on. That did bounce off of that exactly. So I would have put on that one and that one. Let's see if I would have been stopped out. The stop for the one was there. That looks pretty close to a stop out. But I take that back. You don't want to be, so that is all, that's not correct. So remember, this is the way I trade it, right? So if the market hits the ATR and retest, I don't want to be taking the ATRs after that. And the whole idea is to look for the first retest. So this already hit the ATR and retested. I wouldn't have necessarily done anything. You could have done it off, didn't even touch X1. But that's the ATR. It hit ATR, came back. All these are disqualified, so I take those back. I would not have taken the back and blacks there. But I would have put on bark and lick, and I would still be in it. So that sucks, but that's just how it works. You know, I guess if it pops up here, I could still put it on. So my rule is if I do miss a trade, right? So this was the ATR, the retest, the confirm. That guy was bearish. Let's just make sure it's still bearish. I can still potentially put these on because I never want to miss a short. Because I mean, it's still bearish. So I'm kind of forcing this because it has done this. But the way I judge whether I'm going to put these on or not after I miss them is if this tags something of importance where I would have got out of some, well, I don't put the trade on when it comes back, right? Like that's just because I would have already been out of some of the contracts. Let's see if this bounced off anything important. Yeah, I would not have put this on. I mean, I would have been out here at some at the yellow lug, so I'm not going to put this on. And what else do we have? So these are my important areas. There's the trading in the zone document, right? So I'll show you that here in a second. You get that as part of my trade room. So this tag, point of control of this monster composite is also pretty confluent with yellow lug. So those are areas, as you can see, I'm very consistent in where I get out of some of my trade. Come on. Right here. I pay myself as the market makes money available to me. So when I get a trade on, these are areas where I will piece out of some of my trade. Ludwig levels, that was the yellow lug. Market profile composite, highs, lows, POC. That was the market profile POC. So I would have already been out of some of the short if I did put it on. So meaning I'm not putting on a short now if it pops back to this entry line. That's the yellow line. Right? So sucks for me. Yet another one I missed today. But that, again, I had to draw that manually. So I didn't do anything wrong there. I just didn't see it. But it's not like it announced it. All right, still getting whipsawed in gold, and here you can see the price change. Algo's running the show. More recently, that guy, that guy, that guy. Right, so again, I'm short here. instead of pulling my hair out saying, what the hell, man, you can just look at this and say, oh, that's why. That's why. Right? So nothing's going on. Price change algo whipsaws you to death. So I'm still short there. Here's your retest in gold or in crude, just like I told you that I missed this trade. But I do have I'm going to put on Bark and Lick now, right? So I'm shorting 77.71. I could put on 11. This is all part of the zone drawing tool. This comes back and tags because this was the official retest. So this back in black worked off that market profile composite that I just showed you. Take the 2 and the 1, you're out of the zone. Hopefully you guys took that in my room. Other than that, now to the position trade. Algo guy is bearish. ATR, retest, confirm. I'm shorting right there. Tells me based on my risk, I showed you that. I could put on 11, risking 500 bucks. 7.7, you can see there at the bottom left, 77.7.1. Bark and Lick crude. Just so excited to have a trade on. These markets suck. They sucked yesterday too, to tell you the truth. It was like watching paint dry. But you're gonna have days like that, right? So it's like, and that I went on the rant yesterday on my PM webinar. That's why when you're doing well, when things are working, you do not get up from your desk. That is my second biggest pet peeve ever. The first one is trailing stops for no reason, just because you don't want to give back money, right? I trail my stops based on something that happens in the market, aka live events. My second biggest pet peeve are guys that say, my profit goal is whatever yours is, right? I'm sure half of you guys are doing this, right? Or more. My profit goal is $2,000 for the day. Oh, hit my 2,000. I'm turning it off. I'm done. That is just the dumbest thing I've ever seen, because I told you guys, they did this in my trading firm. When we were 70 traders deep, I would say at least half of them, for some reason, $5,000 was the magic number, right? They'd hit that, and they'd literally just turn off their computer and go sit in the game room for the next 6 hours and play ping pong and video games. It's like, what in the hell are you doing? If you can make 5,000, sit there and make 10. If you can make 10, make 20. Like, what? I would sit there all day. Like, I would rarely even get up to go to the bathroom, right? So it's like, that doesn't mean you hit 5,000 and you give it all back. That's not what I mean. I mean, if you hit 5,000 and have these rules already pre-selected or pre-made, like you're not deciding in the heat of the moment. Say, if I have 5,000, that's my target that I'm happy with, and then I'm going to give myself a chance to give back, whatever you want, 500, one trade, or 1,000. Say, I'm going to give myself 2 losing trades back. If I pull back to 4,000, then I'm done for the day. Perfectly fine with that. But I'm telling you, if you're stopping at a certain amount at the highs, you are costing, there's so many days you could be costing yourself a $50,000 day, right? When things are making sense, stay in your chair. If they're not making sense or there's nothing going on, like today, you say, you know what, I'm going to go work out. I'll come back in the afternoon, or I'll be back tomorrow. Like, I'm not going to sit here and participate in this. Guys, I'm telling you, like, that was the number one reason. And, I would say out of those 35 guys that would do that, I would say 30 of them were fired within the year, right? Because it's like you make $5,000 and then you have bad days and you're losing 10, 15, 20 grand. You can figure out the math there. All right, so anyway, I did miss all these bean oil trades. This is just to show you how well this stuff works. It doesn't matter what market you're trading, right? The threshold in bean oil is 150. I would eventually have been stopped out finally on that one, because this is how I trail my stops, based on the events, something that's happened in the market, not because I don't want to give money back. So that's the first event that actually proved bullish. I would have been out there. So just to show you, you're doing yourself a disservice if you're just staring at crappy markets and nothing's going on. Let's just check out some of these other ones. So here's some silver stuff. If you want to trade silver, and then just remember this all adjusts here too. They do have micro silver now, but this is very expensive per contract. I forgot what the exact value is. I think it's like I can't remember, $30 or something per contract. So this is a buy ice event. You can see most of the day, right? 150 I use in silver. So I'm just take a quick look. I don't trade silver very often because I got out, but today there's stuff going on. So structure wise, just to see if I'll trade bigger. So that was a failed balance breakout. That should have done that. Didn't. Said built more balance. This was telling you something's up. So this market looks very, very bullish, just like gold does, right? Right here, kind of sitting in this inflection zone, so there's really no easy trade for me there. I do have variations, but again, I barely trade silver as it is, so I'm not going to force any trades. Let's look at algo guy, maybe for barks and licks. So it's slow if I'm looking at silver, but because it's slow. Algo guy is like right on top of each other. So I'll determine here if this, whatever way this moves out, right? So this is how I don't just jump in trades unless this is sexy Gexy. You can jump in that. But this is the other thing too. So this thing's been bouncing around its Gex levels, and this is still a trade in progress. So I don't know the effectiveness of, it's bouncing around these Gex levels, and then you get ice. Like, I don't know if you want to be taking the sexy Gexys in that instance, because it's already been, the best ones are like the market's moving. I already showed you, like this one in gold that I missed, right? Market moved from below into it. Those are the best ones, right? This one, I'm not saying it won't work, but I just haven't watched enough when the market's bouncing around them. But you could take a sexy Gexy long if you're a Jones or if you're a seller trade. Other than that, unless it's an auto trade, sexy Gexy is the only auto trade in silver. Then I wait for it to push the ATR out, the blue line, to determine is this a bullish setup or is it a bearish setup. So that hasn't happened yet. Bookmap Bob will let me know. Just looking at some of these other markets. Nothing in bonds today. Nothing in copper. So this is why I love Mentor Q, right? Because you can get these Gex levels. So I use spot gamma as well. Spot gamma is, that's the number one thing that I use, and we haven't been looking at the hero today. As far as like the real-time options activity, we'll go over this stuff too. And again, you get 2 weeks for free of this stuff. Just use Scott as your coupon code. Let's look at the trace today. So a trader in my trade room, this is what he said earlier, and he's been just killing it with this trade. So there's different, guys have different strategies. So this was earlier, Mr. Big V. So this was yesterday. He caught this trade. So he's doing this pin trade again. I've been wanting to learn this because I'm not obviously don't even know how to do it. But this is what Spot Gamma always talks about. So he was trading for a move into this stuff yesterday, and that's those Gex levels, and he got it, right? So that's the trace. But then today he says, we'll look at this. For today, there is a big gamma cluster at SPX 635, 645. That's around 80 points above where we are now, so quite far away. But if the bull's dry price action, and that's already starting right about now, this might be the magnet and resistance for today. Mine the 6,000 call wall on its way. So he's talking about, so it's the gamma, I believe. Let's see here. I just don't know why I don't see it like as the cluster. Like it's not like it's like zoomed in or zoomed out, I should say. So anyway, he's talking about literally 180 points away. Doesn't mean it's going to go there, but he has been. I mean, a couple guys I remember have been taking these trades with options, right? You take it futures too, but the point is that's the area he's talking about. But you got to get through these other levels on the way up. But don't be surprised if it makes it there, especially if nothing's going on. So this is starting to work its way up. It doesn't mean I'm just going to jump in along. If I were going to do this futures wise, so he's got a pin where you do call spreads or whatever in this case. Again, I don't know enough about it to even talk about it. But say I got a buy ice event or any event, right, that proved bullish. Well, I can use this as one of my, for my longer term targets. So say this starts rolling up, I'd watch these levels to maybe get out of some if it's struggling, but I try to keep a piece on and see if we can get all the way up there. So that's how you can use this option. One of the ways you can use this options data. It's very important, right? I had no idea up until very recently, the last year or two, that's when I got, Spot Gamma, how important the options are. And I posted this the other day. Here's another thing, right? So this one I missed. One didn't get out because I wasn't watching. So you have the hero and the trace. The hero is the real-time options flow that's updating like every 10 seconds or something. That's this. Right? So let's just see how this is. The market's moving up. Here's hero. This is Mag 7 hero on its highs. Actually, take that back. Let's refresh this. So one thing it doesn't, you got to refresh it the next day. It's probably still on its highs, right? No, it's not. So this is on its lows right now. I mean, it's not really doing anything. It's not like I'm trading off of it, but I'm just trying to see So there you go. So this right here. So what my point is right now, because there's nothing going on, these options, this is the newest game, right? These guys, these 0 day to expiration options dudes, load up the dealers. The dealers have to hedge with futures, and it causes these moves. So you can see this thing. I mean, this isn't a huge notional move yet, but this is moving up, and so is ES. How am I trading that? Well, I'm not trading just on that, but it's good information. Say you are long off of something. I'm not long anything right now, but you can be. I mean, this is moving literally exactly with the hero right now, because it's the only game in town. There's no big money in here, and you can usually tell that by the relative volume. We talked about that, right? So this is actually a flow alert. That usually means a rejection. Eventually, that's what Brentford Spot Gamma talks about. But you can see, look at this. There is nothing going on here but hero flow. Chop, 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 chop. Rip, rip. But on the flip side, according to Brett, and I've watched this many times, this is the next trading strategy coming out. I keep saying it, but I will get it done. So you see where it says flow? That means a big option sprint. And with their new flow data, you should be able to see that on here. Let's see here. So this is like a time and sales tape. Again, I don't know enough how to read this yet. This is the newest. That's the tape here. Let's see. So somebody's selling calls. Again, I don't know the exact. A billion notional move is big. So if you're seeing, see how this is very, very fast. So again, I'm not proficient in that yet. But my point is, when you get the hero flow many times, again, just an edge, it's a probability type of thing. It doesn't happen every time, but it happens most of the time. So you get the flow, means that there's big options positions fading the move. Once this settles down and levels out, the market will turn around and go the other way. So the white line is the market. So just keep, it doesn't mean just jumping a short here, right? If I got this is the next strategy. If I did get a volume event, I could jump in, but there's no volume event, so I'm not doing anything, right? I'm just pointing this stuff out so you guys can add it to your trading or keep an eye on it, because I'm telling you, when nothing's going on, this option flow runs the show. And this is what I was talking about with the Twitter stuff, or what I posted the other day. This was just me missing this. So again, this is for you not to miss it. Right here. So I was short. We took this on the webinar. I was short, and there was a mistake with my sizing because the zone drawing tool, I screwed it up. But regardless, I did catch it short from the highs, right? And then this came in, and we got the ATR, and we got the retest, and the confirm. So I took Barks and Licks. The algo guy was bearish. I took those trades here, and I was watching this level down here, and I'm like, okay. And this was stupid in its own right. I mean, it was like 2-3 points away. I wouldn't have been on of all of them. I would have been on a majority of them because there were so many things down here. Anyway, I'm sitting here watching this. I'm just staring at this. I wasn't watching this. This is important. This is the hero flow that's updating every 10 seconds. You can see the first wave down. That was that. Market makes a lower low. Hero did not. That's telling you something right there. It doesn't mean the hero can't turn over, but it's just something to note. And when you're that close to levels of getting out, get the hell out. Don't be messing around. So not only did I not get out, then the thing turns around and rips. This is a great example. In minutes, 2 billion went from minus 3.4 billion to plus 1.8 billion, and there you go. So this is usually, so there's always been, I've told you guys this a million times too, between 10:30 and 12:30 Central, I've lost millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars trading in that time period. I used to have to get up physically and remove myself from the office so I wouldn't trade. The newest game in town is once it dies down, and remember this is Pacific time, this is Eastern time. So this was right around 11 o'clock Central, in between that time period. Hey, let's just F with the options flow. Let's load up these dealers, and they have to buy because there's nothing going on. And then, so they load up the dealers. The dealers have to turn around. So the dealers are selling because someone's buying. That's why they're dealers. They're on the other side of the trade. They got to turn around and hedge with futures. Thing rips off the page, right? So it's important very, very important information, especially when nothing's happening, right? So again, just pointing it out so you guys can add that to your trade. You definitely want to watch the hero the spot gamma levels and, in my opinion, the mentor Q levels. That's why I'm using this stuff, because they're very important areas. All right, so speaking of which, this, again, I wouldn't have taken these again, but even if you did take these after, again, I tell my trade room all the time, you want to take them multiple times. So this already retested. If you took the one ATR, you would have been stopped out, but the two held on, it looks like. Maybe not. Maybe a tick, exact tick. You guys would be amazed at these prices. They're just stupid how exact they are. Anyway, you might have been filled on. Well, you've been filled on the 3. So in this case, again, I wouldn't have taken them after it already retested. You're just looking for the first retest. Say you took them again, well, the 2 and the 1 lost, but then you got the 3. The 3 is almost a 2-to-1 trade, and you break even on that, even if you did take the other ones. But for me, I just look for the first retest of the zone. In the meantime, there is just nothing happening. Did I take these trades? I had parking liquid. Yeah. So I'm short crude. We already went over this trade, right? Algo guy's bearish. Actually, this was a red rum too that I missed. Was it? No, it wasn't. So red rum is when you get the volume event in the red rhythm. I think Trump's talking too, and that's why the market's repping. Anyway, ATR retest, and that was the back in black you could have taken. Finally retested, and I shorted. So now what I'm looking for are areas that I'll possibly piece out here. This is an important area. So if I was just sitting here a second ago, I probably would have got a couple here because it started to react. I kind of got lucky here, and here we go. This is how this is perfect example. Now I could trail my stop. Here's tick strike, by the way. You can see this thing. This is why I use this thing. It's great when the trade's going your way. It's not so fun when it's going against you, watching it and listening to it. So I was short off of that. Stop was up here, right? That's what the zone jar is. That's an ATR plus 15%. Now, new event. Actually, this is a double whammy. What's a double whammy? That's one of my 6 distinct setups that I keep telling you guys about. This is inherently bullish in its own right. It should be. If it breaks, it's telling you something thesis-wise. Let me show you this. So when I'm talking about double whammies, that broken ice, so this is the course, right? And these are all the different, this is all the stuff on how to settings and drawing zones. And this is a progression too, because I was drawing them wrong at first, and then I finally learned how to do them correctly. Because I was drawing to the edge of the bubbles instead of the middle of the bubbles. Only for about 7 years. Stuff still worked. It's still an edge, but they weren't exact. Now they're exact, especially with the zone drawing tool. Here's the zone drawing tool. I put that in recently. And here's the setups. Dumb and Dumber, Stop and Hold, Titanic, Broken Ice, Double Whammy. This is a double whammy. When you get... now if I combine these, when you get the dumb money puke into the waiting hands of the buy ice, right? So you saw here, you get 436 stops into 150 buy ice. So I'm going to make this one zone. There you go. So worst case scenarios, I'm trailing my stop to this, right? Basically where I entered it. I might make a couple ticks if it pops back up there. But in the meantime, one, I could trail my stop. Let's see where we're at. I could get out of some of these if we're at an important area. So at least we got one trade on today. I actually caught one that worked. I've missed like 10 of them. So for me, there is nothing for me to get out right here unless this is the point of control of this market profile composite. Let's see if that's the case. I think we're through that. So that was at right around 77.14-ish. So we're through that. So for me, I don't have a reason to get out of it. These are my areas, right? You may have like the 200-day moving average or Bollinger Band or whatever you guys are looking at. And that's not for me to say if it's important or not. The only thing that's here is extreme standard deviation, VWAP. But so you have these algos that snap it back there, right? You could use this and always get out at extreme standard deviations. What a great thing to judge whether it's just going to keep going. We call it a hugger, where it just keeps hugging it, is if you see heavy relative volume. You can see 1 tick strike's firing off. 2, you see that heavy relative volume. So there's bigger money at play here. And this is going to be a great example. We'll look at the price change, where the price change was probably working great, and then it works until it doesn't work. The big money comes in, you don't want to be messing with this thing. And that's what's happening right here. So anyway, back to what I was saying. For me, there is nothing that I will get out of this trade unless it comes back off that volume event. Now I'm looking at basically blue look, right? Or the bottom of this market profile composite. So I'm holding this. I will trail my stop, and you have more. Now you have sell ice here too. So here's the new stop. So even if this comes back now, I'm always moving my stop to the most recent event. I'm always trading off the most recent event, right? So now my stop is there. That's the yellow line. So that is 77.57. So if this comes back, I'll make like, where did I get in? 71. So I'll make like 14 ticks. So whatever, it is what it is. I hope it keeps going down, but I'm not going to ignore a real-time volume event that turns bullish. Then we could potentially go long this. Actually, I take that back. This may be an area. If this is an Izzy zone, I'll get out of a couple right here. It is. So this is right at the bottom of the zone. I've got 13 on. I'm going to get out of. I'll get out of 3. Right there's that zone. It's right at the bottom there, and this is where this thing launched from yesterday. So I'm going to get out of 3 right here, in case it snaps back on me. Actually, I'll get out of 4. I'll get out of a third. All right, so I got out of 4. I still have 9 on. So if it keeps going, great. If it comes back, at least I took a profit down here at the bottom at that Izzy zone. The other thing I want, well, actually, this is also a method Q level, so that's a good exit. I already got out of 4. That's good enough. But right here, right, these are important areas where the market will bounce. This is not a sexy gexy because it's sell ice into this. If it was buy ice or sell stops, I would take it. This is too far away, right? So I'm not taking a sexy gexy long here is what I'm saying. But as far as areas, that was the bottom of that Izzy zone, and it's a method Q level. So I got out of a couple. You can see they're still hitting it. This is why I use tick strike. It can help you stay in. I'm on these webinars and I'm going back and forth between products, so I may miss where I can't just stare at it. But if you're able to watch it, then say, hey, you know what? I'm not getting on any here. This might blow right through here. They're still hammering this thing, right? And I'm sure you can see this on the volume, pressure, and balance too, by the way. And I'm going to show you the. Actually, I don't have it running here. Let's get this. So here's a good example of getting this up, right? Go to Market Pulse, hit Create. I'm going to bring up both price change. Hit the play button, and then hit Create again. Now I'm going to get the volume, pressure, and balance. And then I'm going to change that to an hour. Hit play, and then watch it load, and then I'm going to show you. I guarantee this is the volume, pressure, balance is firing off. This is the most selling in the last hour because they're hammering this thing. That's what tick strike's showing me too. So again, Market Pulse is tick strike on steroids, is all it is. Oh, by the way, just for your knowledge, remember we said that flow alert many times equals reversal. There you go. So guys, the options flow is just running the show right now. But just good to see. So say you were long there. How good was that? Right? You say you were long. Say you got long off something. No, I wasn't long off anything because there hasn't been an event yet. You get the flow alert. Once it kind of settles down, market turns over. So that's going to be the next strategy too, guys. There's another 100 strategies coming, but there's just so many out there. And please, even if you come in my room, this is not meant for you to take them all. I say it every time. It's to pick 1 or 2 position trading strategies. Pick one of the auto phase strategies, right? And then you can play both of these, but pick one of the reversion trade strategies and get really good at them. And then you can start adding things. But it's not like so many traders come in my room like, oh God, I can't keep up. There's just so much stuff. It's like it's drinking from a fire hose. Just pick a couple. You don't have, these are mine over 25 years. If I could take them all because I've been doing it for 25 years. It's not meant for a newbie to come in here and think you're going to take all these things. You know, if you have the bandwidth, then yeah, great. But as you get really good at a couple, then it starts to make sense. And it starts to slow down, and then you can say, okay, I'm going to add another one. Oh, I'll add another one. Oh, I like that one. That makes sense to me. That one doesn't make sense to me. I'm not going to add that one. See what I'm saying? You get me? All right, so that was just a good example of the thing turning over when you got the flow alert from Spot Gamma. Trading copper right now. I stopped out of those gold shorts, by the way. I finally said mercy on those. The silver did move higher. So this is a bullish event if you want to take silver. I'm sure it's going to come back and retest the zone because that's all they ever do. I didn't see anything for a back in black here as far as gamma levels though. But if it goes ATR retest confirmed, you can go long. In the meantime, I trail my stop in the crude here. Did I? Hold on. No, I did not. So worst case scenario is you got a winning crude trade today because that's basically all that's happened in this entire webinar. No matter what happens here. Again, I got out of 4 of the 13 and I got 9 on and I'm trailing my stop. So even if it comes back on me, it's still a winning trade. All right, those stops are trailed. 250. Well, remember, as soon as this stuff fires off, that's what the stop is. I don't adjust my stop once because this will be moving around with the ATR. Whatever it was when this fired off, that was 57, I believe. Yeah, that's where my stop is. And on the flip side now, there's lots of events here. Can I go long? Is this an important area? It's kind of through this. So these inflection zones are areas, not exact prices. You got to make a decision. I got to make a decision. Am I willing to take that long if this holds? I did get out of some right here, so it makes sense. I should go, go long if this turns into a bullish event. So I could potentially take an easy long there if this event, latest event, turns bullish. And I don't think there's anything else, right? Because I said I wasn't going to get out. So there's nothing else to go long except an Izzy. If this, I'm not going long right now. This is not, I'm not entering right in the middle of the zone. It's got to push out of here. So I would stop out of my shorts, my bark and lick shorts that I have on, and I would go long Izzy at 57. Other than that, I'm just holding this puppy. And then, say this happens off of either one of these guys. We saw this in bean oil earlier, right? If it goes ATR up, there it is for the prior one. Retest confirm. I can add to the bark and lick. And then I can do it again if that one proves bearish. So this is how you catch a trending market. I already showed that in soy oil. It was ridiculous. You could have 4 different trades on this thing. Right? This is a great example of that. I already showed this, but it was ATR retest confirm, ATR retest confirm, bar click, trail to the most recent event. You finally get stopped out down here. You have 4 positions on, right? So the same thing can't be happening here. If you catch a trending day, you can actually crush it, right? So if these turn out to be barks and licks, I'm going to add to my bark and lick with the new trades. These are new events, new trades. So keep an eye on that. This is just brutal in equities. This is exactly how I was trading yesterday. It really wears on you when you're just sitting here. This is why, guys, when you get right around this time of day, just say, you know what, I'll be back in the afternoon. I'm not going to waste my mental energy on this nonsense. This is just algo city right now. Here's your price change. Speaking of which, I'm going to show you in crude again real quick, but you can see here, every time this thing spikes, it reacts because there's nothing going on. So this one went a little higher. You remember, so like I said, sometimes they'll keep going. So this was during that hero move, if you remember correctly. So that this was price changing, and then you're going to take losses on it. I'm not saying to trade this, but if you're going to trade it, you're going to have times that price changes for many points. You just have your whatever you come up with your stop, and then it's right back to normal, right? So it's like something bigger was going on. That was a hero move, the SPX, and then right back to normal. Price change, reaction. Price change, reaction. Price change, reaction. See what I'm saying? So it works until it doesn't work. Then it goes back to working again. So if you're going to trade it, just be aware of that. I don't trade that. I'm done trying to trade these really short-term market movements, right? So, but it's just the opportunities are limitless, especially with Bookmap, right? It's like you have so many different things. You gotta do what fits your mentality for trading. Most traders gravitate towards scalping because they can't sit through this ridiculous, the whipsaw. So if you can't handle it mentally, you should learn to condition yourself so you can put on different types of trades. If you can't, then trade this stuff. There's something for especially in my room, like I said, there's something for everyone. There's something for the R trader that just can't stand waiting for the market to move out of the zone. Well, you have the auto fade strategies. You got the TikTok or the back and blacks, the reversion strategies to the zone. Those are scalps, and the position trading strategies. would learn how to do all three, so you always have something brewing. All right, I need to take a breath. See if you guys got any questions. DB, can you show liquidity for Tesla, please? DB, I'm not trading. I'll show it because it's on my other computer, but I'm not trading stocks, right? Yeah, you can use that for strategies to trade the futures. Hold on. Again, I don't trade stocks. And you need the DX feed too for this. This thing actually is probably messed up. It's been running for about 4 days. I forgot to restart it. This is my other computer. Let's see here. Tesla. This thing's been running for 4 days. Yeah, there you go. So this may crash on me. I just forgot to restart it. Hey, I wonder why memory allocation is not sufficient. You can't leave the thing running for 4 days. So anyway, let's take a look here before it crashes on me. So I'm doing this because I have trading strategies. We're in the trading firm, and they want to trade all these unknown, not unknown. But I mean, notes are not unknown, but they want the thresholds for all these other things, like whatever this is, aluminum and palladium, and I'm not trading those, but they want the thresholds, so that's what this is running on. But I do have the stocks on here. Hold on. You see how slow this is, because again, I have not restarted it. Come on. I mean, I'm not going to be surprised if the thing crashes on me. But I'm not trading individual stocks. You can, especially Spot Gamma. They give you all that information. There's so much opportunity in that stuff too. I'm doing so much with the futures. I can't. Doesn't mean you guys can't. This isn't really telling me much. Some days you're going to have liquidity on both sides, futures or stocks, right? It just tells me it looks like more of a range type day, which is exactly what's been going on. Right? You got a big band down here, so it wouldn't surprise me one bit to see this go fill. And then you got bands up here, so that just looks like that type of day. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but you can judge many times on this is what we do with the futures, right? You bring up the liquidity and say, okay, there's a bunch of liquidity. We know they're magnets. The markets are going to go there eventually, very likely. Sometimes it takes a couple days too if you're seeing it really far away, but it'll make it there. Trust me. Like this right here. This is the area that Big V in my room was talking about. It's the biggest liquidity band on the board. So that means, say we get an event, you go long. 1, we already know that's the gamma level. 2, you got all this liquidity. I'm sure that's related too. But you can try to hold and see if you can catch that. So I will keep that in mind if I put a trade on. What else? I use Tesla for sentiment on ES. That's fine. That works for you. Like I tell you guys all the time, it's not for me to tell you what's important, what's not important. What I'm telling you is, if you're trading futures, demand a volume event in your important areas, and you will do 100 times better. If you're not looking at this stuff, traders, I'm not saying people are profitable without the SI information. I'm telling you they could be about 100 times more profitable if they use the stuff. If you're not looking at it, you just don't have all the information. I don't care how well you do. You could do better if you know what the hell's going on in real time. All right, the screw's working, so at least we got one trade on today. I only missed about 4 of them. So this is the next level down, right? So if this comes down on this liquidity and it can't get through, this is one of my areas. Remember I said there's nothing else down there besides the lug, but there's that liquidity. So this is one of my areas right here. Struggle to get through heavy resting liquidity. So I got out at 3 a little bit ago and mentor Q, option level, VWAP extreme standard deviation. What else? There was something else there. I can't remember now. But in the meantime, reversion-wise, back in blacks. That's this guy. And be careful taking back in blacks or sexy gexies if there's heavy relative volume because there's bigger money. Yes, the dealers are hedging there. You should get a reaction, but the big money's plowing into them. It doesn't matter what they're doing. They'll get run over. So that's this trade here. I've already shown it. So as long as the relative volume isn't ripping off the chart, that's the Sierra chart relative volume I was telling you about. And it looks like it's kind of dying down here, so these may be in play. Just keep an eye out for this. So you can see here this relative. So it's kind of dying down now, right? You had those big levels, that big stuff here, and now it's dying down. So what does that mean? Well, that means I could potentially take some reversion longs back to this stuff that's firing off here. So say it comes down and tags. Let's see, what do we have here? Do we have any levels down here? Not really. So I mean, if it were to make it all the way down to this guy, so again, this is just one of my important areas. Say it moved all the way down to here and started to bounce, I can take the 3, the 2, the 1 back to the zone, as long as there's not a new event. Say that happens, right, and I'm in it, and a new event fires off, I'm out of the trade. I'm not hoping it comes back to that event when there's a new event. But if there's no event, say there's no event down here, and it bounces and comes back, I will definitely be watching for that. And then the other important areas, again, it doesn't always have to be Mentor Q levels, it could be other areas. They're still hammering this thing, so hopefully it goes to 0. It's good for everybody, good for our gas. Say I bounced off of that, I take it off the Ludwig level, and that's pretty confluent. At the bottom of this market profile composite is real close to that. Let's see. It's probably the exact price, actually. Real close. 51, that's 53. That would be a great, if you don't get anything, but again, if something else comes in, then I won't do that. But say that comes down there, and that's where this is too. This would be a great, you have 3 different confluent things. We'll say it bounces, that's the lug, that's the market profile composite, and it's a Mentor Q blind spot. You take the 3, the 2, the 1, back to the zone. And then these are the stops for each of them. So again, that's the Zone Drawing Tool Pro if you want the reversion trades, and they have been working ridiculously well, especially in NASDAQ. I mean, I just crushed NASDAQ last week in those trades, and Sexy Gexies. Could you see NQ? Sure, nothing's going on in here. Again, I missed this trade earlier. And I didn't put it on when it came back because we already went over this, but I would have been out of some down here. That was that market profile composite. There's been nothing, guys. There's just, I mean, it's just price change algos running the show. There you go. There you go. There you go. So nothing's going on. And that's back to this. You had one little blip where something was happening with the hero. That was that. But let's look at quickly before I hop off here. If you got any questions, throw them in. I got to hop off here in a second. I know we haven't done much, but hopefully you got the screw trade. Again, guys, these webinars are not to mirror my trades. It's to learn how to do this for yourself. But if you're trading gold or crude and you know what I'm looking at, you should have been short this. This is a great trade. And I missed one from up here too that I already bitched about. But anyway, let's look at the price change algo here, because I'm going to show you a time where it just keeps going because you saw that heavy relative volume. So you got to be careful. That's not it. That's the price line. If you get the Mentor Q, guys, that's on my website too. It's in that document, but you can get it on my website. This one's only for the monthly, but you can get the yearly too. Oops. What is this not? So everything in that document, in case you're watching this as a recording, is on my website. Right, there's discounts to Bookmap, discounts to Mentor Q. So this is the monthly. So anyway, when you get that, you do, if you want them on, you can get them for Sierra Chart, you can get them for Ninja, you can get them for TradingView. If you want to get them on the Bookmap, like I have it, and I know this looks like there's a lot of stuff here, but once you understand what you're looking at, it's not a big deal. But if you want them on Bookmap, then you have to get the price lines add-on. So you go to the, I know it's an extra expense, but guys, there's certain things you don't want to spend money on. There's certain things you need to spend money on if you really want to take advantage, right? So go to Bookmap, Marketplace. There's my course, by the way. You can get it on my site or Bookmap. The Zone Drawing Tool. This is the MBA data. You need that obviously for the iceberg stuff. Here's the Scott zones. But if you want the price lines, just type it in here because it's hard to find. Price lines. Right there. You got to get this if you want to get it on Bookmap. If you want to get the Mentor Q levels on Bookmap. All right, so this is that liquidity that I was watching, right? So this starts struggling here. This is where I use where's the tick strike? I can use here's the price change algo, and there's not a lot going on. It's not quite threshold. But see how it's struggling here? I'm going to get out of a couple more of these. I got 9 on. I'm going to get out of 3 more. This has been a good trade. Actually, this is the lick trade, and this is the liquidity I was talking about. So I'm fully out of my lick trade, and I'm gonna keep my bark trade on for those lower levels. But I'm gonna get out of 3 of these. But you can see they're hammering crude here, so you can hold here for a second, see if it can blow through. Again, I'm jumping back and forth, so I'm gonna get out of 3 more. So these have been really good trades. Hopefully you guys jumped in on those. So this is all I've done today, right here. Again, I missed a bunch, as you guys have heard me bitch about the entire webinar. This is it. Here's the gold loser. Took that gold Izzy. This is what I mean. You just keep putting them on if you have an edge. Like, it doesn't, who cares, as long as you control your risk. So gold loser, crude winner. I just got out of the full lick trade there. That's a nice trade when I'm only risking $500. That's a good trade. And I still got 6 on of those. That's the bark. And I'll watch that lug and or trailing to most recent events. So there you go. Quickly, I just wanted to show you this, and hopefully this loads. Yeah, of course it's not loaded. Hold on. This is the price change here. Remember, if you want to get the historical, you got to change this. Let's move it back 2 hours. There's still hammer crude. So this is a great example, right? When you look at a crude chart, you're like, this thing's going to 100. Well, we've been short because we got a volume event. Right, again, I missed, well, I forgot what I missed earlier, but we took the bark and lick. Look at that. We took advantage of it. This chart couldn't look more bullish, especially where we got short. That's why real-time volume events they trump everything. Not President Trump. Soon to be. All right, let's see what happened here. So this is a great example, right? So the price change was working. When nothing was going on, when they're whipsawing everyone to death. Price change, rip. Price change, rip. Price change, rip. Right? And then something bigger was happening. That was that heavy relative volume. And then it just kept price changing. Right? So again, it works until it doesn't work. Then they go right back to whipsawing people to death. So just another way you can trade or time your entries, so on and so forth. I talk about this in my trade room all the time. So come on over. All right, other than that, there's nothing really to see in NQ, guys. It's just, this was that one event that was one, I had to draw this manually. I never got short this. It still hasn't violated. You still wouldn't be stopped out even if you did short this. All right, you could have got out of some down there at the market profile composite. We went over that. You're still in it. So if this thing dies, you are in it to win it. Other than that, I've never done a Bookmap webinar without a single volume event in ESNQ or Russell for that matter. This stuff was earlier. Again, I missed that trade too. But pretty incredible stuff. That just shows you how bad the trade is, especially now. We're at the 10:30 Central to 12:30. Be very careful unless you see relative volume picking up. I would not even mess with these markets in this time period today. All right, I do this every day. My trade room. Come on over. Learn the best edge in the history of trading, in my opinion. I'll see you guys.